Hey, I'm Matt Hudgens, and he's Dave Mulvaney, and this is Profitability MD. Dave, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing great, Matt. How are you?
I am good. I'm actually excited. We got Strange Golf U.S. Open starts this weekend. You know, it's September of 2020. The COVID crisis has messed up the golf majors for the year. College football is just barely starting. SEC football doesn't start until this weekend or next. So kind of a weird year, but I'm excited about, some U.S. Open golf.
And in the Southeast, it's going to be a little bit of a windy next few days, I think.
Yes, we got the Hurricane Sally thing that coming through. I guess Pensacola right now is really getting hit. It'll be coming up, wrapping around.
Yeah, it's not just that. There's actually a nor'easter that is cutting in underneath it that's going to be blowing air across from the east, across the ocean. So there's it's going to precipitate a lot of precipitation, but it's going to be very windy. So if you're on a golf course, on the Atlantic coast and you're planning on playing some golf, you can plan on having a pretty strong wind. So
it'd be different.
And I know you are on vacation, so you're going to be playing golf.
I'm always playing golf. All right, episode 91, 3 biggest lead generation mistakes. Episode 91, 3 biggest lead generation mistakes. You and I see this stuff all the time, and we talked about kind of stuff like that in the past, but I thought this would be fun to kind of go through it, and you're working on something right now where it fits right in there. So 3, I think there's a stat that says how many ads have you seen in the last week? And this might be a couple years old. It's something like 125,000 ads that you see in a week, 125,000 of them. So can you, I don't know, what's your favorite ad running right now that you see on TV or on the web or in a magazine? What's your favorite ad that you see more frequently?
Well, I can tell you it's not a political ad. I will tell you.
Take out the political ads.
No, I honestly, I can't think of one specifically other than the ads I'm running, of course. But no, that being said, it's, I've heard that.
Well, that's part of it, right? So if there's 125,000 ads and nothing sticks up to you, you've probably seen 125,000 last week. My favorite ad right now, I don't even know if it is. I don't know if it's Geico or Progressive, but it's something like you're becoming your parents and stuff like that. So they're like running through the Home Depot kind of store or whatever, and we all see it. Purple hair, and then it's like, no, you hired him to do the work. You're not here. You hired him. Don't give him any advice. And then it's like they're helping people back out of the car, of the parking lot. No, we don't know them. They can back out the car on their own. So it's like,
So I haven't seen that commercial.
It's my favorite. It plays all the time, but I don't know exactly what the product is. As part of my point, right? I don't know. I can't remember if that's Progressive Insurance or is it Geico. I don't really remember. There's no complete matchup. It's a great ad. It's funny. I actually like to see it. I usually watch it. I'll actually not get up to go to the bathroom or whatever to watch that ad because it's a good ad. But it doesn't work in direct response marketing, right? How can a small business owner, right? Now, I've seen that ad 100 times and I still don't know exactly what it does.
Yeah, that ad is being done for branding. Okay,
branding, right.
if your ad can entertain, so they're shooting for the entertainment value. But you're right, it's a failure because you can't. It's your favorite commercial, and you can't put your name on whether it's Progressive or Geico. Now, that's pretty bad unless they're the same company, unless they're the same parent company. It doesn't matter, right?
Unless you're buying insurance or not. So that's not the kind of stuff that we talk about. When small business owners, we don't have the money to run a million progressions so you can see it a million times to remember something like that. We need direct response marketing. We need people to take action, to get off the couch and do something when we run ads, right? Whether it be a newspaper ad, a web ad, Yellow Pages ad. We need people to take action, right? So the first mistake we always see is fail to get professional help, right? So that number one, fail to get professional help. And what I mean by that is, we talked about this before in the past, you know that every professional athlete has a coach. Every single one of them, right? Tiger Woods is famous for having a dozen of them going through them. I don't even know who he has right now. Tom Brady, he's got 2 or 3 coaches, right? He's got a nutrition coach, a workout coach. He's got obviously a passing coach, right? Baseball, you got the pitcher coach, you got the batting coach, you got the base stealing coach, right? And every Michael Jordan, LeBron James, all have coaches, right? Everybody's got a coach.
And it's not just failing to get professional help crosses over into the we've all fallen for this before. I'll just do it myself. I go to Home Depot, I buy all the stuff, I buy all the tools, I buy everything I need. Now I've spent as much as I would have spent on a professional, and the project is still not done, and I end up hiring a professional to finish it. It doesn't typically happen to me because I'm too hard-headed, but it happens all the time. So hiring a professional also saves money in the long run, not only because it gets results, but because you're not respecting your own time sometimes.
Well, plus they can do it faster. They can do it faster, right? So it's like I use virtual assistants all the time, right? And virtual assistants might charge an hourly rate that sounds more expensive, right? Oh, there's $40, $50, $80 an hour. Yeah, but they're not taking an hour to do a project. That might take me an hour to do the project. It's going to take them 10 minutes, right? So I'm paying for their expertise, and they get it done in a shorter period of time. So hiring a pro that knows the ropes or knows how to handle stuff, right? Knows how to do the project, right? That's number one. Number two is talk about don't know the fundamentals to successful marketing. And so we've talked about this in the past, but again, a lot of the marketing professionals, even the professionals, are more about branding. We need to, no, we don't need branding when we're a small business owner. We need results. We need direct response marketing. And that goes back, we've talked about this before because I use the interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. That's the thing that we talk about. You have, I can't remember what's the.
I use what's called what's called the pastor formula. It's not religious. It's just, it's just, you find the person, problem, pain, then you go after their aspirations and then amplify the pain a little bit. Then you've got the story. You tell a story about the solution, then the transformation, and along with testimony, the easiest way to, and then you've got the offer, and then you've got the response, which that's what you're talking about, direct response marketing. Just to kind of, for the people watching, if you're not quite sure what direct response marketing is, if you spend $1 on advertising, it should bring in $1. You should at least break even. That is how direct response marketing is supposed to work. If you can break even on the first time you acquire the customer, so if you can break even, that's the direct response, then you can grow exponentially as long as you do a good work where you can retain your customer. And
right, the lifetime value of the customer.
Yeah, right. So that's the goal of direct responses, is to at least break even. Now, so branding, on the other hand, if you're Budweiser, you advertise, and like crazy, but what do they have a direct response? No, you go to the store, they got Budweiser, it's everywhere, but they want their name out there so prominent because they've just got to beat Miller. It's the old adage where, two people are out in the wilderness and here comes a tiger, and one guy's putting his tennis shoes on, and the other guy's like, you can't outrun a tiger. He said, I don't have to outrun the tiger. I just have to outrun you. So that's branding, okay?
That's branding, right. But we want direct response. So mistake number one, fail to get professional help. So mistake number two, you don't know the fundamentals. You don't know the formula. We got two different formulas that you and I talk about all the time. It's a fundamental formula that works over and over again, worked for years. Mistake number three, they have no idea how to use their marketing to generate cash flow. You and I talk about this all the time. The most important thing for business owners is cash flow, right? So I want to run marketing in order to generate cash flow immediately. So those are the three biggest mistakes we see handled. And so we already talked about mistake number one, having a professional help, somebody who knows, who's done it, who has experience doing it, who's been successful doing it. All the pros have coaches.
So let's pause on what a professional would do, like to help you.
Well, that's going to be step number two. Hold on. We're just, in general, professional help, right? So step number two would be talking about the formula. We call it conversion equation, interrupt, engage, educate, and offer, right? So we could give you an example. We've done this before with other type things, but what is marketing supposed to do? The first job is to capture your attention of the target market, right? Who's your target market? I want to get their attention. Second is to give them hope that by reading or seeing this, that you're going to solve their problem, right? Or help them solve their problem, right? And the third job is really to lower the risk. I know you're going to use your example here in a second, how we're going to lower the risk of them taking the next step to buy your product or use your product or learn more about your product, right? That's what marketing is supposed to do. Capture their attention of the target market, kind of convince them that you've got the solution to their problem, and then make it easy for them to make the next step, take the next step, buy the product, learn more about the product, try the product, something along those lines. And we've got great examples that we're going to get to here with you in a second. So most business use what I call a tactical marketing approach instead of a strategic. So a tactic would be, we're going to run Facebook ads, we're going to run Google ads, we're going to do an ad in the yellow pages. That's the tactic, right? But the strategic one, we talked about this before, would be, what's the marketing message, the big picture? What is the message? Who are we going after? What is the message that we're trying to deliver? And then those tacticals are really the medium. Am I going to use Facebook ads or postcards or a drip email campaign, right? Those are just tactical. How do I implement the strategic plan of what is the message and who am I going after, right? So a lot of people are just saying, hey, I tried Facebook ads, it didn't work. Oh, I tried direct mailers, it didn't work. Well, maybe it didn't work because you didn't have the right strategy, right? You didn't have the right message that you were trying to deliver. Well, that tactic didn't work.
And that's where hiring a professional comes in, because, okay, I tried postcards. Let's say I tried postcards. Well, when the customer got the postcard in that stack of mail that they get, did your postcard interrupt what they were doing enough so that they engaged with the postcard? Right. So, like, if you're gonna, when you're getting to the interrupt engage, it's got to interrupt what they're doing. So here we're talking about Facebook ads right now. Now Facebook ads are absolutely crazy expensive right now. Why? Because COVID. So everybody's home and they know that. So every advertiser on the planet. But here's the problem: they're not interrupting, and people are not engaging. So what's happening is the value of Facebook ads, in my opinion, my humble but accurate opinion, the value is going down, because if you cannot write an ad in the sea of other ads to interrupt somebody's day, because nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, man, I just love to see some ads, you know? I mean, but so you got to interrupt, and then they have to engage. That's the key, is, you know, it's not just you engaging with them, it's the opposite. They have to engage with your ad. In other words, they have to find something in common that with the ad is saying, this is about me. It's not about your company, it's about me and how you're going to solve my problem and make my life better. And then you can put your offer out there once you've got all that.
Yeah, exactly right. So a lot of people use their ads, I call them platitudes, right? We have the lowest prices, we're family owned and operated, we got the best service, we've got, we're really convenient, we're the best value, we've been around for a long time. Those are platitudes, and a lot of small businesses, that's what they use in their advertising. That's not a distinction, because if everybody can say any of those, hey, we're family owned, been around for a long time, that's really not a unique proposition, right? So going back to the formula, it talks about the interrupt, you know, our conversion equation, first interrupt the prospect, and then we got to educate them, engage them, and then educate them, and then make an offer, right? So we had this, anyway, I got an example. We haven't used this one in a long time. This was a client several years back, a mover, right? Local mover, little, I had used to have a mover. And, you know, have you ever seen the yellow page ads, right? So it's like, you know, put a picture of a yellow box truck on the yellow page ad, and it's got, you know, we move homes and apartments and residential, commercial, emergency moves, you know, just all the little bullet points, you know, call us, right? What's their offer, right? Call us, right? Moving, what do they say? Reliable, we family owned, quality, reasonable value, right? It's a typical yellow page ad, right? And so this goes into, you and I talked about this before, market research and knowing your target market and knowing your competition, right? And so we had done this whole little project for them, which I didn't know this was, you know, it's funny because I haven't done this well. So 72% of all moves result in something being broken, okay? 72% of those local moves, moving in and out of apartments and houses, something breaks, right? And so one of those things you might say, hey, well, we're fully insured, right? We're fully insured. But it turns out that fully insured is not what you and I would think would be fully insured, right? Fully insured in the moving world, it's actually a requirement typically by state law, but it's like 40 cents per pound, right? So if you break my $1,000 TV, but it only weighs, you know, 10 pounds, right? They owe me $4, right?
Yeah.
Right. But it's $1,000 TV, right? Versus full replacement insurance, right? Full replace. It's kind of like, you know, you hear that with your automobile insurance, right? Or your homeowner. Your homeowners is a great one. Your house burns to the ground. You have replacement replacement value, or did you insure the home for a dollar amount, right? So you might have insured it for a dollar amount, but it turns out it costs, 20% more to actually build the house back exactly how much, because lumber today, by the way, is the highest prices it's been since '08. It's actually higher than it was before the last crash. So replacement value versus, a dollar value, right? So anyway, you do the research, and here's the unique value proposition that that this mover has, right? So they do the insurance, that's the full replacement value of the product you break. So there's the distinction. It's not just fully insured, meaning per pound. And they have this 3-step packaging process where they wrap it in, they got make a little video, wrap it in the wrapper and wrap it in the bubble wrap and the saran wrap. So it's really inside. So whatever you want to call that, but it's their unique 3-step wrapping process.
But
right?
But if what you covered so much there. Okay, so first they took a big fear. Okay, my stuff's going to get broken. If 72% of moves, something gets broken. All right, and the other guys, so they're throwing rocks at their enemies. Okay,
right.
They're throwing rocks at their enemies. They're saying the other guys, they have 40 cents on the pound. So that's not going to cover your big screen TV. It's not going to cover very much. Okay,
right.
But then they come out, and that might be marketing. They might have a $50,000 deductible, and they have to pay any damage anyway.
Right. You're jumping ahead.
But going back to the 3-step process, then they're putting you at ease to say, hey, we got the insurance is the backup. We have this process that prevents stuff from getting scratched and broken. Again, overcoming another fear as part of the market, because objections are fears, right? So
right.
They're overcoming objections as part of the marketing.
Right. So they do it. This is part of the research, and then I'm going to show you how the ad we put together. Right. So exactly right. So that 72% of stuff gets broken, and fully insured isn't really fully insured, and we actually are, replacement value insured, and we have a 3-step process. So that now you start to say, here's how we're a little unique. Here's how we're different. You may or may not know that. Joe Polish calls that like the consumer guide. Joe Polish and Dee Jackson, we talk about them. They have that podcast, I Love Marketing, all the time. They talk about a consumer guide. Help the consumer, educate them on how to choose a mover, how to choose your product. So you put all that in together, and here's the ad we put together that talks about the headline, Interrupt. Last year, more than 4,000 damage and negligent lawsuits were filed against moving companies, right? By outraged homeowners, right? Why? Because they weren't fully insured. And then it goes, so that's the interrupt, right? Hey, did you know every time you move, there's 4,000 lawsuits that happened last year, people suing movers because they break stuff. And then you get into the educate. Why is that? Because fully insured doesn't mean, this is what you were just saying. Everything you were describing is in the education section. So then it comes to download our free guide, how to choose your mover, how to choose the perfect mover, right?
And of course, what you're doing is you're bringing the customer to,
yes,
well, what I like to call a fork in the road. It's a kind of, but you're bringing them to this fork in the road, but you're sucking them in. And so now they're at the fork. They got 2 choices, you or to go with the bad people.
Yes.
You leave them with so there is no real choice. It is a fork in the road, but there really is only one choice. And that's what your marketing is designed to do.
Yes. So you are making yourself exactly right. You're the obvious choice. They'd be a fool not to do business with you. So you're actually educating them on how to choose a mover, right? And then, of course, all the pitfalls you've got covered because you've got the insurance and you've got the 3-step packing process. And our default rate was 3%. So their moving was only 3% of stuff got broken because of the way they did everything instead of 72% of things get broken, Yeah. So they could say, pick a mover that has a special packaging, pick a mover that's fully insured, replacement value insured, pick a mover that has a 3-step, packing process or knows how to pack. Download our free guide, a consumer guide, how to pick your mover, or you could call us. So we put both those on the ad, right? But really, that's the lead magnet. You're the lead magnet king with your copywriting skills, right? So that would be the lead magnet in and of itself, which is really just repackaging the little paragraph, everything we just described with a little more detail or fluffier pictures, right? That's a lead magnet for it.
But the one thing that we didn't discuss, but is a fact, is that when you've done this right, the customer is not going, wow, I wonder if they're the lowest price. That's not even a concern in your mind because you've established that you are the standard. I'm the standard. Everyone else is over here. Now, if you're 5 times as much, that might be a problem. However, if you're 30% more or 20% more, you can address that in the education section that you're not really any more cost because we're not going to break anything. I mean, you could address those things, but that being said, people aren't going to shop price. And that's the most important thing, is because when you know, we did a podcast on knowing your numbers, okay? When you know what profit margin you need, and you need that, and then your customers come in and they're always at or above that profit margin, that's how you win in business, because that's what our show is about. Profitability MD. You've got to be profitable. And the only way to do that is you've got to have your marketing working in such a way that you're not making marketing mistakes. And
absolutely. So results on this, I used to get about 70 calls a month and get about 7 deals, right? 7 moving deals, right? After we changed the ad and changed the focus, we got 950 calls a month, and our conversion rate jumped from 10% to 68%. They had so much business, they had to farm it out to other movers, but teach those subcontractor movers how to pack with their,
I was going to say, and the worst part is they probably broke more stuff, but we were not going to go there. But they're fully insured, so to put them at ease again.
But so it goes back, so like you were talking about right now, you are in the dog food business we're talking about, and you are running ads, interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. And so tell them about your greatest news offer, which is really cool.
Well, right now we're doing a free plus shipping offer. And so, shipping is the most expensive thing in a lot of products right now. That's why Amazon is so successful, is because they're a logistics company. That's what they are. They're a logistics company. You have a website that manages logistics. So dog food is very expensive. So we decided to give them the product and just let people pay shipping so they can try it. So our offer is anybody can try our product. That's the whole, just pay the shipping.
Irresistible offer. That's the definition of an irresistible offer. Reducing the hurdle rate. We talked about that. Easy to use your product. Hey, try it for free. Just pay for shipping.
And that's very hard to do on a hardline product. But the reason we determined that is because if we don't do the free offer, our cost per lead is much higher. So
the advertising costs, you were talking about Facebook being so expensive.
So what we decided to do was give the product away, which enormously increased the amount of people who will want the offer, and it lowered our cost to acquire customers beyond the cost of the product. So all we're doing is saving money on ads, restructuring the way you do ads so that the ads look. If you're let's say you have high ticket offers and it costs you, and you're a business coach and you get paid $10,000 per client or something. Well, if your cost to acquire the customer is $2,000, well, wouldn't you spend that if you could make 10,000? It wouldn't be you'd be making 8,000 every time. But that's what marketing does. You can put a price tag on what it costs to acquire the customer, and as long as when you acquire the customer, if you can break even or even make a profit, then now you have an exponential growth pattern.
Right. So you can talk about your example. It's going to be instead of spending money on the ads, you're spending money on the product, right? The shipping, they're going to cover the shipping. And so instead of spending money on ads, you're spending money on the product to give away, and then you make money on the back end because you'd hope they reorder. And that's where you make your money is, hey, we liked it so much, we want you to continue, and you put them on a subscription model, right?
Yeah, and the subscription model is very common in pet food, of course, because the dog's going to eat again and again. And so we're profitable by month 3. So that's our model. Is we know that when we acquire the customer, we don't break even on the first month. We break even at the end of the second month, and we make money in the third month. And that's again, know your numbers.
Know your numbers. That's what I was going to say. Exactly right. So this kind of wraps it up, though, to number 3, which was how to generate immediate cash flow, right? So I gave you the movers example, and all of a sudden we're quadrupling. Well, went from 70 to 950 new leads, and from 10% conversion to 60. That generates immediate cash flow, which is number 3, the biggest problem we see, the biggest lead generation mistakes. You're generating business by giving the product away and spending your money on the product as opposed to the ads, and you'll be generating cash flow on the subscription service. I ordered some vitamins off of Amazon the other day, and pretty cheap, but they're going to get me because they're putting me on subscription basis, right?
Yeah, 5% off or whatever they do on Amazon.
Yeah, and every month It'll come whether I remember to take the pills every day or not, the vitamins, right?
Right.
I might have some few extra, right? But they're shipping me one every 30 days because there's 30 pills in a thing or whatever, right?
But the important part is going back to step one is that, okay, you were talking about a mover, Matt. I mean, so what did that mover do? They got your help. And that's the key, is that you know, somebody watching this or listening to this might be going, oh wow, I don't know how to do all that. That's the point, is get some help. So, because you want immediate cash flow, right? Well, if you want immediate cash flow, you could try to do all this yourself and maybe have some cash flow in 90 days down the road. I'm figuring out. Or you can get somebody to help you do that so that you can have immediate cash flow.
And think of this, so I was just thinking, we talk about, you know, if you're a builder, how to choose a builder to build your custom host, how to choose a builder to do your, remember we talked about kitchens, baths, and basements, right? Sure. You could have a consumer guide, you know, make sure you got somebody you want somebody who's bonded, who's insured, who knows it, and who's had experience, right? So you could have a whole consumer guide on how to pick a contractor, right? How to pick a plumber, how to pick a landscaper, right? These consumer guides, again, that's a Joe Polish type offer, which is how to choose the right dog food, how to take care of your dogs, right? All these are educating, but you're educating them in a way that the obvious choice is you. Why the best car is a Lexus or whatever. Why the best car is a Toyota, whatever. Well, that's your education, right? Of, well, if you really want this, this, and this, the best value is X, Y, Z, right? So 3 biggest mistakes, lead generation mistakes: fail to get professional help, right? Everybody we know, all professional athletes have coaches, right? So if you're a business owner, you should have a coach. You and I talk about our mastermind group. This is the kind of stuff we talk about in our mastermind group. Number 2, they don't know the fundamentals. And really, truthfully, most marketing people don't know the fundamentals because they learned marketing and it was about branding and about, you know, Coca-Cola is, you know,
that's what they teach in college. That's what they
teach in college. They don't teach direct marketing in college. They teach branding, right? And so, we need to run this ad 1,000 times before something happens. That's baloney. You and I are all about measuring ROI and running this ad and what's our response, and if not, we need to tweak it, right? But that gets back into our strategic. What is our marketing message? Who is our target market? Remember, you and I have talked about this in a couple of podcasts before. This is why it all matters, right? You can't just magically throw up any ad you want and have it magically create cash flow. But if you have the right strategy and the right message and the right target audience, then you get a right response, right? We talked about the movers and, oh my gosh, you don't want things to break. Immediate business, which leads to number 3, they have no idea how to use their marketing to generate immediate cash flow, right? Mistake number 3. Now, the conversion equation contains all the fundamental components that help you identify your target market, message to the target market, and generate a response. The offer generates a response, whether it be download our guide or get a free thing of dog food or learn more, or, right, you know, call us is the scariest thing. So it's more about getting your consumer guide, your lead magnet, your free product trial, right? Nowadays, I see all the time Facebook ads for the book, right? Download our book for free, just pay for shipping, right? Why are those gurus doing that? Because they want to get you in their pipeline, right? They're going to sell you something else after the book, right? Most book writers don't make money on the books. They make money on the coaching, the seminars, the workshops that they do based off of the book. You don't make money on the books. The books, you make money on the movie. You don't make money on the book itself, right? The screenplay, right? But anyway, so biggest lead generation mistake we see all the time is you don't have professional help, you don't know the fundamentals, and you got no idea how to use that marketing to generate great ads. You can't just run an ad and expect people to start coming to your doors, right? So when you use the proper formula conversion equation, when you get professional help, you get results, you get dollars to your bottom line. It all comes relate, which we always talk about. This is what we talk about in our mastermind group. This is why we have a mastermind group. These are the things we talked about in a mastermind group, and these are the things we talk about. Yeah, I did XYZ and this worked because I did XYZ and this didn't work because I didn't have the right message. I didn't have the target market, but we refined it to make it work, right? We don't just want to throw it up against the wall like wet noodles, like they say pasta, and just see what sticks. No, we want to have a targeted, right? A strategy and a target, and then narrow down what's not working to fine tune what doesn't work, right? That's the stuff we talk about in our mastermind group. You and I talk about that every week. Talk about a mastermind group. You want to apply, it's Matt at profitabilitymd.com, Dave at profitabilitymd.com. Looking for business owners that want to grow their business and take it to the next level. Got to be having a business, got to be making some money, got to be wanting to take it to the next level, because we're not doing it for you. This is what the mastermind is so you learn how to do it, right? Learn what's worked from people that have done it before, right? Find us, profitabilitymd.com, Profitability anywhere you get your podcast, Profitability YouTube channel, Profitability MD YouTube channel. We got it all covered, Dave. I feel like we got it all covered.
I think we do. And best of all, if you want to join our mastermind, we're gonna interview you and make sure that we're a fit for you and you're a fit for us. So and we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us. And Matt, good show today, and we'll talk soon.
That's good. Episode 91, 3 biggest lead generation mistakes.
All right.
Pretty good stuff, man. Always a pleasure.
Have a great week. Take care.
You too.